Hello, greetings, and welcome back to another episode of Blue Blooded, your favorite college basketball podcast. You like that one?
My favorite college basketball podcast.
That was like a little bit more radio emphasis, like a broadcasting type. I am your host, Ryan Hammer. I have my big brother and GM of the podcast, a great assistant as always. Adam, how are you?
Pretty good. Nice to see you today.
We have another conference preview episode today. Today's going to be the A10. We did the Mountain West last week. A10, one of my favorite leagues in the country as well.
And one of the most fun conference tournaments every year.
Arguably the most fun and the least fun altogether.
Yes.
A zero-bid league, as they say on Twitter.
Well, we'll get into that.
Yeah. We'll get into the A10. We'll do the usual power rankings, player awards, all conference teams, hot takes, yada, yada. But first, we must do news and notes around the country, talk about a couple things going on in college basketball, and we will get into the home field, home court, or home field advantage of the week. So let's get into news and notes. Okay, news and notes around the nation. This is as of today, I believe, recording this on Sunday, September 28th. Taylen Kinney, one of the best recruits in the class of 2026, five-star, has committed to, did you see it?
I did.
To the University of, or Kansas University it is. Sorry.
Yeah, KU.
Kansas University over the likes of Louisville and Kentucky and others. Now, it says he's from Georgia. He's from Kentucky. He's playing at OTE, so he's technically a Georgia recruit. But one of the best players in Kentucky in the last couple of years, one of the best recruits in Kentucky. It was seen as a Louisville-Kentucky race the entire time.
Yep.
Mark Pope, Pat Kelsey. I don't know if you saw the fight.
I didn't.
Mark Pope and Pat Kelsey, there was a rumor that they got into a physical scuffle.
Yeah, I'll take Mark Pope.
Well, that's not fair. So it was about Taylen Kinney. Apparently,
Okay.
they were both going to, when the recruiting opening opened, they were going to go visit Tay Kinney at midnight, both of them, because they're both local.
Right, they wanted to be the
Kentucky.
first one there immediately.
So they both went. Apparently, all that happened was they played it off like they just exchanged words. I would say something more happened. I don't think any physical altercation happened, but they played it off like, oh yeah, we're both doing our job. We respect each other. I think there's something more there.
There probably is, but at the same time, when you listen to both of those guys talk, they speak so highly of the other one.
They need to.
That I kind of buy that too.
They need to for the rivalry.
It's a great rivalry. They're great coaches. Taylen Kinney's a great player. Point guard, playmaker. He plays OTE. Tell me more about him.
Tay Kinney's awesome. 6'7". You know 6'7"? This is where the meme comes from.
6'7".
No, this is where the meme comes from.
Is that true?
He has a brand called 6'7" Water.
Oh, I didn't know this.
And our good friend,
I'm learning.
Our good friend Jared represents him.
I'm learning.
So you know that.
I do know Jared.
Yeah, he's 6'7" guy. He is 6'7". That's him.
I didn't know that.
Okay, we're gonna stop that, Unk. You have Unk status. Big
No,
time.
but I knew the 6'7". That's pretty good.
Yeah, this is him. This is him.
I would say I'm halfway to on because I knew what it was.
He's a great player. Going to Kansas, I think, is a little bit of I don't think a start of a trend, but what he was sold on under Bill Self was the same thing that got Darren Peterson to Kansas, and Bill Self is kind of using that to get the elite freshman to say, hey, like, you're going to be our guy when you come here. I want you to be our dude, one and done, lottery pick, number one pick, etc. Be the guy at one of the most historical and best basketball programs in college basketball history, and right now, all said and done, instead of going to Louisville or Kentucky where they're going to recruit in the portal and you're probably going to still be a one and done, have a good chance, but you go to Kansas instead so you don't have to worry about playing 15 to 20 minutes a game and kind of being on a tighter leash, I'd say, which is where the higher recruits at those kind of schools get. So that's the sales pitch. I'd buy it too.
Who's saying no to that? But I love, by the way, that Bill Self slid in during this proverbial in-state battle and nabbed him out of state.
On a Sunday morning, nonetheless.
Yeah.
On an NFL Sunday morning. I thought I was setting my fantasy lineup today.
Yeah.
Little did I know. Let's get into one more news notes. This is A10 related. My dear queen, March Madness legend Sister Jean is officially retiring.
Our dear queen.
The world, the nation.
World's queen.
The nation's queen, Sister Jean, is retiring. She is unable to travel really out of her home and go to the games anymore and onto campus.
Can we talk about how she was still working at 106?
She's 106. Well, what was she doing when she was working?
Being Sister Jean.
She's 106 years old. She's the best, dude. During that March Madness run, they went to the Final Four as an 11 seed as like this random school. They would have had all the publicity in the world. I don't think it would be remembered like it was without her. There's no way.
Every few March Madnesses, there's a non-basketball related, like a non-player coach related. Amir Khan, the flautist from Villanova in the marching band.
There's no way that person compares to.
I'm
Sister
not
Jean.
disagreeing with you, but
That's crazy.
She's everywhere. Sister Jean. Every so often you get somebody who transcends everything and is part of this like Cinderella run.
She's an icon.
She might be Cinderella.
She's a cultural icon. So she's 106 years old.
Crazy.
We are going to play a game that you did not know we were playing today.
No.
Do you know what year she was born in? Do the math.
Well, 106. That means
you got this. Come on.
19.
Yep. Try it again.
27.
Nope. Try it again. 1919. She was born in 1919.
Okay.
See, I thought you were going to be a math guy, not a history guy.
It was too quick.
Okay. We're going to play a game. Was Sister Jean alive to see this? Okay?
That's okay.
I'm going to name
You're
an
putting
event
me on the
or
spot.
something that's happened in history.
Okay.
I have like 10 things I'm going to name, and you tell me if you think Sister Jean was born and alive on the earth when this thing happened, okay?
Okay.
When the sport of basketball was invented.
She was not born yet.
Okay, you are correct. 1891, though. Close.
Okay.
Close. Do you think she was born when Wilt Chamberlain scored 100 points? Trick question. He never scored 100 points.
Didn't even let me answer.
I'm just kidding. I was just joking around about that
yes, born.
I was just joking around about that one because he didn't score 100 points.
Okay.
Do you think she was born when the Titanic sank?
Oh, this is really close.
It's only going to get harder.
Yes.
No, she was born.
Was it 1918?
1912.
Damn, I was close. Okay.
Do you think she was born when Amelia Earhart flew over the Atlantic?
Jesus. Yes.
Okay, you want to guess a year? You're correct.
1927?
1932?
Okay.
Do you think she was born to see any part of the Ming Dynasty?
Well, Yao Ming was part of it, so therefore, yes.
No. The true Ming Dynasty, the emperors and all.
No.
Yeah, it ended in the 1600s. Just thought I would get you with that one.
Okay.
Do you think she was alive and born when Yankee Stadium was first built?
Yes.
1923. She's older than Yankee Stadium.
I knew it was close.
And I got two more for you.
Okay.
Do you think she was born when the Golden Gate Bridge first opened?
Wow. No.
She was 1937.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, almost when you were alive. That's crazy.
After Yankee Stadium. Wow.
And I'm just kidding. Last one. Do you think she was born? Do you think she was alive when the country of Saudi Arabia was founded?
Yes.
Yeah, she's older than Saudi Arabia, 1932.
Yeah, I figured that might have been the latest of everything. I feel like I got like 6 or 7 of those right.
That's a
6, 7.
shut up! Just shut up! Shut up, Unc.
That was good. That was good.
Yeah, that's by the way, all in respect to her. She is a living, breathing icon. We love her.
And the #1 song in the country when she was born. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I have no idea. Probably something
by Chubby Checker.
Sure. Anyways, shout out Sister Jean, absolute legend.
Yeah,
I love her to death.
that's
If I
great.
could ever meet her, maybe I have to go.
What a fit for today's episode.
For the A10, yeah. Before we get into all the A10 stuff, we are going to take a quick break and get into the home court or home field advantage of the week, brought to you by Home Field.
This week's home field, home court advantage of the week. Ryan, I'm going to let you take this one.
Virginia. Are you kidding me? Dude, one of the best field rushes I've ever seen in my entire life.
This is important because this is your first ever 10 out of 10.
I have been grading court and field rushes for almost 3 years. Graded over 50 of them. I went back because I had time this weekend. What else am I going to do on my Twitter feed? Never given a 10 out of 10. I knew that. 2 9.8s, 4 9.6s I've given out.
Was Silent Night one of those 9?
9.8.
Yeah.
They'll never get a 10 because it's too planned.
Yeah, it's too planned.
You can't get a 10 like that.
Okay.
Virginia's was planned.
Yeah.
But it was overtime. Like, they could have called a touchdown and been like, oh, wow,
Yeah.
we're not rushing the field. It's because of the hill.
I was going to say, I've been to a football game there before.
The hill that they have behind the
There's a hill and there's no barrier between the hill and the field.
That's a hazard.
I mean,
I loved it.
did a Florida State player get trampled in the
No,
process?
so I will say the reason why I gave it a 10 out of 10, and I stood 10 toes down on that, big part was because everyone's like, oh, what about the player safety? I'm big on player safety. The students they executed that rush not only with perfection, with class. They did not I saw another angle of it. They did not trample that player. They weren't hitting coaches. The only thing, they flipped the bird to one player. I'm fine with that. That's a good time. That's perfectly fine.
I'm extremely pro court and field rush. You know that about me.
Are you pro flipping bird also?
In life, yes. In that situation, you could get punched in the face. Nonetheless, what a showing in Charlottesville.
We got to talk about the environment. I think they were number 9 in the country, FSU.
Yeah,
when they beat them. FSU hasn't really had like major football moments and wins, to my knowledge, at least.
Who?
FSU, Virginia.
UVA.
I
Well,
apologize.
I think this is so fascinating because UVA basically never gets to rush the court, or they haven't for the last
They've been so
decade
good.
because they've been so good.
For most
and
part,
the football team hasn't really allowed them to do it. So this was a really cool. Like that hill is never filled like that.
Yeah, and they're gonna have to take precaution. By the way, they only paid $50,000 in a fine. That is so worth it. The students could all pay a few dollars and then figure that out themselves. Thought it was so cool. The environment was great for the game. I think it wasn't a whiteout, but I think they were all wearing white. Kind of, maybe it was a whiteout, but super cool. Shout out Virginia, great field rush. That was without a doubt. The second I saw it, we texted. I was like, Virginia Sunday.
Go
Virginia.
crazy, Charlottesville.
It's Virginia. So shout out to the Cavs. Okay, that was the home court / home field advantage of the week brought to you by Home Field. Shout out to Virginia again. 10 out of 10. I'm going to keep saying it. 10 out of 10 field or court rush. Let's get on with the good stuff.
Wait, can we stop for a second?
Oh, no, okay.
Introduce us to the jerseys behind us here.
Oh, I didn't do that before.
No.
That's my bad.
Yeah.
We do have two A10 jerseys up.
There's a very special non-A10 one
you
over there.
have GW and I have VCU, which we are wearing, actually, which is... It was planned.
It was planned.
But we have two A10 jerseys up. You have a UIC jersey, minty light blue, with the Chicago on the lining also.
That's fire.
I have my good alma mater, D3 Arcadia, baby. Look at, am I touching it right here?
Would you believe me if I told you that there's an actual Arcadia mention in our A10 preview today? For me, at least.
Yes, because of St. Joe's or something like that.
Don't ruin it for everybody.
Well, do you know this? Coach Justin Scott, now the associate coach, I think, head assistant at Oklahoma, was at St. Joe's, was the head coach at Arcadia when I went to school there.
That's so funny.
I know him well, saw him at St. Joe's a lot. Now him and his, I think his technically stepson, Xavier Brown, are now at Oklahoma. Those are my guys.
Really cool. Okay. Didn't know all that. Anyway, it's two Arcadia mentions.
Shout out to A10.
The MAC, right?
Just the MAC.
No, the Arcadia, just the MAC.
MAC Commonwealth or Freedom. I'm not sure what they're in now. But let's get all the A10 stuff. We're going to start with power rankings, and we'll go starting at one down, and then we'll do player and team awards and whatever, bold prediction, and we'll be out of here.
Cool. I have a question for you, Ryan.
Yes.
How many teams do you think can realistically win the A10 this year? Because this is we did the Mountain West last time, and we were pretty lock in step that this was going to be San Diego State, and that was it. This conference seems a little bit different.
5.
Okay. I was going to say 4 or 5.
Can I tell you my bold take now?
Great.
Can we do bold take at the beginning?
Sure.
My bold take, so they play 18 games in conference. My bold take, I think last year George Mason and I guess it was Dayton or VCU maybe won 15 games apiece or something like that. Usually there's someone that dominates like that a little bit. My bold prediction for this conference is that 5 teams win 13 or 14 games out of 18. And there's like crazy tiebreakers and situations for seeding and for the A10 tournament, and it's going to be like all-time level parity in this conference.
Okay. I think that's really good. We haven't discussed the order of our rankings yet. I think our top 5 is going to be the same, but in a different order.
It definitely is going to be the same 5 teams. I don't see how I couldn't do that, especially going into the season. So why don't we do this?
Okay, why don't you kick things off?
My number 1, man, I went back and forth. I have Dayton as my number 1 team in the conference, which I think is a bold take on its own. I saw by gambling odds, so I'm not a massive gambler, they are number 5 on odds to win. I would take that if I was a betting man.
Interesting. I have them at 4, but tell me a little bit more about why 1.
Okay. First of all, Anthony Grant's been around enough all over the place. I thought about this, like if the 2020 tournament happened, would he still be at Dayton? And they went on a tournament run?
This was the Obi Toppin makes a Final Four.
They were going to be a 1 seed.
Yeah.
Like that never happens, ever. It would have been the first time that A10 ever had a 1 seed, I think. Anyways, Anthony Grant's been around enough. They have a really good floor because of him and a couple of returners. Javon Bennett, that's my guy right there. Point guard, one of the only all-conference returners in the entire league this year. Amel Atang, also big, lanky, stretch 5 hybrid center who was a really good freshman last year. Kind of broke out in the second half of the season. I think he started the last 16 games of the regular season. He averaged 10 and 5 and a block a game, which was a pretty good chunk of a step better than what he was before that. So those 2 returners in the starting 5 are going to be awesome. And then you look at the guys they're bringing in. I'm just going to go down. I'm going to go down the list here for you. Okay. They have 4 power conference transfers: Deshane Montgomery from Georgia, Jordan Durkak, who we know from Rutgers and Merrimack before that, Malcolm Thomas from Virginia, from Villanova, and Bryce Hurd from NC State. On top of that, Keontae
Yep.
Jones from CSU Northridge.
Waiting for that one.
This man is a demon, like crazy.
6'6", but almost averaged a double-double.
Crazy athlete,
Yeah.
like absolute crazy high flying, high energy athlete. 2-way. He's a great defender. He's got really long arms. He's a great play finisher. He's throwing stuff down. I think with their lack of size and bringing in a lot of guard play, he's going to be their 4. So he'll play next to Amelatang as the 4, I think.
An undersized 4.
Adam Jai, I don't know if you know who he is from Iona.
Yep. NJIE, correct?
Jai, yeah,
Yep.
Adam Jai. He, like, one of the shiftiest guards you're going to see in all of college basketball. He's listed at 6'3". He's probably smaller than that, but he is super, super tough. He's, like, one of those dudes who's been on social media since he was in, like, 8th grade, I think, or something like that. Super cold, super crafty. I think him playing with Javon Bennett is going to be one of the more fun duos to watch in the country in the backcourt.
We talked a little bit about how you think offline. We talked about this. Do you think Durkak's going to take a nice step forward again?
He was so good at Merrimack.
Yeah,
also, Jordan Durkak and Javon Bennett, who was their returner, played together as freshmen 2 years ago at Merrimack. Durkak stayed another year at Merrimack. As a sophomore, won the DPOY and Conference Player of the Year for Merrimack in that league, and then now he went to Rutgers, and now he's here at Dayton. I think he'll have a little bit of a resurgence. He could be their starting 3 at some point of the year for sure. But they're loaded with guards who can get to it themselves, can shoot, can create, can play make off the bounce. So I just see way too many guys that are good on their own and good creators and engines in an offense with Keontae Jones, with Amelatang. And returning some experience in the depth, and have Anthony Grant and a really good floor to not.
I like the returning size. I have them at 4. Let me tell you why.
Sure.
So I'm going to start with the positive. They are one of maybe 2 teams in this entire conference that's going to be battle tested by A10 play. The A10 is a really tough conference for coaches to schedule in because most power conference schools stay away from them because there's usually nothing there. Like it's a lose-lose situation for them. Dayton is the opposite. They play at Cincinnati, at Marquette. They play Georgetown. They get BYU or Miami. They get UVA, FSU, Liberty.
That's a crazy schedule.
That is a loaded non-conference schedule. So
they could lose all those games.
That is my concern.
Yeah.
This is one of the most passionate fan bases in the entire country. And I think the line for Anthony Grant is almost there.
They'll turn on them quickly this year.
And that is my biggest concern, is that if non-con doesn't go that well, heading into conference play, I think the fan base is so vocal.
I hear what you're saying, and they are.
Yeah.
I do want to go to UD Arena, by the way. Crazy.
Well, the flip side of that, by the way, is if non-conference schedule goes well, that's going to be one of the hardest places to play in the country.
They could be ranked by the time A10 play comes around. And then you're like, wow, how did we not realize Dayton was going to be this good?
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying. I didn't do my power rankings thinking of that. I understand that. But on paper, do you think that they are a number 1 caliber team without the schedule aspect?
Yeah, I think any of the top 4 teams that I have and kind of number 5
if they had
could
a
win
more
the
normal,
conference.
if they had a more normal schedule, where would you rank them? Still 4?
3 or 4, yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
I'll just say it. I'm not sold on Anthony Grant.
I'm not completely either, but he been in the tournament one time with Dayton, should have been 2 with 2020, obviously.
Yep.
They were good last year. I mean, they really should have been a tournament team last year. I hear what you're saying. I think they're better and deeper with talent than last year. I don't know about that.
Okay.
But,
Want to hear why I have number 1?
Yeah.
So before I tell you who my number 1 is,
I have no idea who this is.
I was between 2 teams, and I think both are fantastic. And I wanted to draw a line in the sand and make it very clear that there is going to be nobody higher than George Washington than me. Look at this. First off, look at this shirt. Absolute fire.
You can't do bias because of who sends you shirts.
They are not number 1 because they sent me the shirt. The shirt is fire, and they sent the shirt. And I think they're really good.
Fair enough.
Chris Caputo.
It's my guy right there. Year 4, I think he's going into?
Yeah, year 4.
This is a big year for him. Big year.
They're one of only 3 teams in the whole conference bringing back more than half of their minutes. They get back Garrett Johnson, who maybe has the best story in the whole country.
He's the best.
Coming off an ACL tear. And, oh, by the way, he did two years of chemotherapy when he was at Princeton.
Yeah, he was supposed to play for Princeton.
Yeah.
But instead, he had a hip tumor, and he went through 2 years of chemo. Yeah. Then he had a great freshman year.
So he
at
scored
GW,
14 points a game.
And then he tore his ACL. Yeah. Man, and I saw him training. He looked unbelievable.
Yeah. So they're getting back
great.
50% of their minutes plus him.
Yeah, that's a big piece for sure.
They're going to have maybe the best 1-2 punch in the conference. With
Castro.
Johnson and Rafael Castro, yep.
Rafael Castro, and I mentioned Javon Bennett before.
Yep.
Rafael Castro not only led the A10 in rebounding last year, he was first team all defense. He's second team all conference. He's one of 2 returners in the entire A10 that were all conference last year. So he's probably the best returner in the entire league.
Yep. And I'll pause for a second because I want to give you a moment to talk about Boo Boo Benjamin.
I mean, that's all name team right there. Boo Boo Benjamin, are you sure?
Yeah.
Come on now.
Boo Boo.
I do the rest of their team though. So those are 2 returners.
They get
Trey Autry also
right.
third in the conference in true shooting percentage last year. He's
good I think
shooter.
it's Arangarin from Hofstra.
Yeah.
Who's, by the way, scored 35 once last year, 25 like 3 times.
Trey Dinkins also, he's a shooter from inside the A10 already, which I think holds value more than a normal transfer would. And Boo Boo Benjamin, a shooting wing. My concern for them, last year they were one of the worst teams in the conference that turned the ball over. They didn't really have great guard play. We went through the returners. It's a lot of big guys, a lot of front court, a lot of size. They've had experience there. My concern for them is that they got a couple of guards in the portal. Did they get enough playmaking to kind of mitigate that? Because if they're going to turn the ball over at alarming rates,
they got to score.
They're going to lose way too easily a lot of these games.
Well, they won on defense last year.
But that's not going to be enough this year. But they weren't close to the top of the league. Is my problem.
I agree. My concern is actually this isn't my concern for them winning the conference, because I think because of all the continuity they're bringing back and what Caputo's doing there, not only were they like top 100 in defense in the country last year, 2 years ago they were like 270th.
Yeah, it's
so
a big
the
change.
Jump they took is massive. Their out of conference is pretty damn weak.
Who do they play?
USF and Florida, and that is it.
Here's my problem with that.
I know.
This is what George Mason did last year.
I know.
George Mason played nobody out of conference. They lost their 2. They lost to Duke and someone else by like 40. They lost 2 bad games out of conference, and then at that point, they had a damn near perfect in-conference play, and they still weren't close to an at-large bid. That's going to be the problem.
That's my concern, is that GW does win the A10 because they're the best team in the regular season. They lose the conference tournament, and then they don't have the out-of-conference schedule to get in.
Right, and when they're winning so much in February, people are going to be like, why are they not a tournament team?
Yep.
This is why they're playing nobody.
I did these rankings based on who I think is going to win the conference.
I do like them a lot, for the record. You have them at 1. I have them at 2.
Okay.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Who do you have at 3? We'll see if it's my number 2 team.
I kind of want to change my rankings, but
okay.
I have Dayton, and then I have GW at 2.
Okay.
I have Loyola Chicago at 3.
We have a completely different top 3.
Yeah.
Because I have St. Louis at 2. And I have VCU at 3.
I have VCU at 4, St. Louis at 5.
Okay, so let's recap really quick.
I want to say that any of the top 5 can win the league. Like I don't.
We said this before.
Right,
My top 5 is GW, St. Louis, VCU, Dayton, Loyola Chicago.
And that's fine. Like it's fine. I'm going all over the place.
And you have
Dayton, GW, Loyola Chicago, VCU, St. Louis. Let me talk about Loyola Chicago real fast for you, okay? First of all, Sister Jean retired. That might be a problem. That might be a problem.
I don't want to show. I don't want to show my notes here, but I have in capital letters here, Sister Jean retired.
I see that,
and that is a negative for them.
Yeah, that's not good. Or they do it for her. Yeah. They might do it for her, so it might all be okay. Real talk. I think their floor is super high for Loyola Chicago.
They're really deep.
I don't know about the ceiling, but I know the floor is really high. They're losing their top 3 scorers from last year. I think Miles Rubin could have another mini breakout at the 5 spot. Justin Moore is the big piece for me. Wasn't healthy last year, didn't play. He was their point guard, and he's like a true natural pass-first point guard that can really take it to new levels. I think he averaged like 7 or 8 and 5.5 or something, but I think he could be an all-conference player. They have good transfers coming in also. I just don't think they have great players coming in. They have a lot of really good players coming in and a lot of really good players in the roster.
I think it's Tavares, can shoot the lights out.
Yeah, but my point is that they're going to be very balanced offensively.
Yeah.
That being said, this is a team that wins through defense. They've done that for a couple of years now. They did that last year, and I think their defense is going to be fantastic because of how good their floor is, because they're bringing back Miles Rubin, and it's year 5 for Drew Valentine. This is going to be a huge year. We talked about Chris Caputo before with GW. Like, these are make or break years for these kind of guys who have teams that can win the league, and they're super young, inexperienced head coaches at the D1 level. These are massive years for them. I like what Drew Valentine has done over the last couple of years. I think the defense gives them a really high floor. I just don't know if offensively they're going to have the go-to guys to be able to win the conference and win a conference tournament.
They lost their top 3 scorers, point blank.
Yeah.
It's hard to replace that.
I think Miles Rubin taking a step and Justin Moore being awesome this year is what is going to kind of elevate their ceiling. And I believe in Justin Moore. He's awesome.
I think if Loyola Chicago is going to be a top 1 or 2 team in this league, which they can be, they really need Dominic Harris to be the dude.
They need Loyola Marymount Dom Harris, not Gonzaga or UCLA Dom Harris. That's fair, and I think they'll probably get somewhere in the middle. I don't think it's realistic to say that he'll score 1 point a game, or realistic to say he'll score 15 a game.
Yeah. I have them at 5. I think they can win the league. Again, this is kind of what the top 5 of this conference brings.
And I think power rankings in the regular season, they're a team that I think will succeed.
Yeah.
When you look at the seeds in the A10 tournament, people are going to be like, Loyola Chicago's the 2 seed? Oh my God, or the 1 seed? But they just steadily won and were great.
By the way, that was kind of my take on GW.
Yeah, I hear you.
They're going to sneakily just win games and be really tough. My number 2 team, by the way, I think is probably you tell me if they're the betting favorite. You looked.
Sure.
St. Louis.
They're not the betting favorite.
Okay. Josh Schertz. I will put anything I can on the side of Josh Schertz. Year 2, somewhat disappointing year 1, I'd say.
Yeah, they figured it out a little bit at the end, though.
They obviously lose Jimerson. They lose Swope, but they bring back who I assume is the front runner to win
Player of the Year. He is
A10 Player of the Year.
Robbie Avila.
And Robbie Avila.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Kareem
Abdul-Jabbar.
CREAM Abdul-Jabbar.
Let me just say real fast, losing Isaiah Swope and Gibson Jimerson is just as bad as any team losing anybody in the country.
Yeah.
Those are 2 guys together. They average like 35 points a game.
Yeah.
Snipers, creators, they're unbelievable players. It's not easy to backfill that. I also agree that Schertz, year 2 at that school, Robbie Avila, year 2 at that school.
Oh, yeah.
That's when transfers and new coaches start to take turns.
The system starts to work.
Year 2 and beyond, I see that vision. They returned 48% of their minutes, but it's all from the depth after Avila.
Yeah.
But a lot of times you get breakouts from guys that are returning inside your program. My worry is that with the guys they bring in, right, like
Trey Green
is good from Xavier. Brady Dunlap from St. John's. Those 2 guys are good. They didn't do much at their power schools before that, at Xavier and St. John's.
I think Trey Green
He's
needs
probably the
to
guy.
and has to take a step for them to be really good.
I also think they need a big leap. They need a big impact from Quentin Jones from NIU, who was really good there.
He can score.
Because if they can get, Trey Green's our lead guy, and then Quentin Jones is our guy on the wing or a forward, and then we have Robbie Avila, and then maybe Brady Dunlap is better. I think you're just relying on a lot of unknowns where you are not backfilling Isaiah Swope and Gibson Jimerson that easily. That being said, maybe more balance outside of Robbie is better for their system to succeed. Maybe that's true. Maybe he's changed his game to be even better than he was last year. I just worry about everything around him not being at the level it needs to be.
I'm just buying into Josh Schertz. They are bringing in one of the conference's only 3 4-star freshmen, 6'11" kid.
Jackson.
He's going to need to
Curry,
beef up. He's going to need to beef up, but he's skilled. He can move, and I think he'll be nice next to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah, I don't know. Robbie plays like a hub 5 spot. They very rarely play 2 bigs. They play a lot of guards. I worry that they're. I just worry that
is this
they're
another
be
upside case that you're worried about? And by the way, another team that I'm concerned about on non-con. This is going to be a theme. There's only 2 teams who don't have this issue, but they host Grand Canyon, which is a lot of fun.
Hard game.
And San Francisco.
Dons.
And then they play Minnesota or Stanford. It's fine, but
but if you lose one of those games, your at-large is toast for the year instantly because those teams are not going to be anywhere near an at-large bid. That's the problem with their schedule.
Yeah.
They're going to be another team. They have to win all those games.
Same thing.
And that's going to be tough. I don't think they're going to be well put together early in the season to win all those games, so they're going to have to win the A10 tournament also.
Okay.
That being said, Robbie Avila should be the best player in the conference this year. He probably will, Player of the Year. He's awesome. Josh Schertz is awesome. They trust each other. They build around him. They can be amazing, especially offensively with the system they play. Yeah. It's just going to take a lot to go right.
Yeah, I'm excited to see year 2 of Schertz and year 3 and year 4 and whatever comes next.
Okay,
so we covered your top 3 already.
One team we didn't talk about. That's it in top 5.
No. Just VCU. And they're my number 3 team.
They're my number 4. I consider them at 1 or 2. They're actually.
I actually think that they have the highest ceiling of anybody here.
They're tied for the betting favorite with George Washington.
Okay, I love that. By the way, they are the only other team besides Dayton's out of conference schedule is clearly the strongest in the conference.
VCU's is good, right?
VCU's is good. They get Utah State in the first week of the season in a neutral site game.
Love that.
That's going to be awesome. They get NC State in November. They're playing in Atlantis. They host New Mexico. It's a really fun schedule.
Love it.
And this team is going to be insane to watch.
They're going to be really tough to play against too.
Yeah.
So Phil Martelli.
Yep.
Junior. Phil Martelli Jr., excuse me, coming over from Bryant, obviously. Good tournament team, dangerous team last year. So VCU is interesting. I want to talk about their continuity a little bit.
Okay.
On paper, you see, I don't even know the percentages. I'll pull it up real fast. On paper, I got it.
They lost their top 5 scorers.
So you see 24% returning minutes. You don't think anything of it. First of all, a brand new coach and you return anything is already good.
It's a new system entirely.
They had 10 guys who scored 3 points or more a game last year.
Yep.
5 of them graduated. The next 5, one of them is leaving for Texas Tech, and fine, sure, go ahead, go to Texas Tech. The other 4 guys, so 4 of the 5 eligible guys from last year's team are returning this year. I think that speaks levels to Martelli Jr. and their staff and kind of what they're bringing in and the vision there. That being said, on top of that also, they have really good portal ads. They have, obviously, our boy Barry Evans coming over from Bryant, who's a literal demon.
I think he brought another Bryant guy with him,
Keyshawn Mitchell, Jadrian Tracy coming over from Oregon. Tyrell Ward from LSU is good. Lazar Djokovic.
Tyrell Ward could be the guy. He sat out last year.
I think Tyrell Ward breakout is what they need to win the conference.
Yep.
Lazar Djokovic from Charleston, Ahmad Noel, point guard from UConn, who didn't play a ton. But
by the way, they bring in a really high-ranked 4-star point guard in Nick Lewis.
Nick Lewis is good, yeah. So, and then let's talk about Bryant last year. I think is a big piece of this because the thing with me about Phil Martelli Jr. is how crafty he was with the Bryant team.
Yeah.
In the first half, when they played Michigan State as a 15 seed, I was like, oh my God. That was the 1-15 seed where I was like, this is the one that could win.
Yeah.
And we were watching the first half, and I'm like, they are doing this. They are doing this right now. They kind of got fleeced by the refs a little bit, but they ended up losing by 25.
By the way, the VCU fan base, which is so used to seeing
God,
havoc defense and amazing defense.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to offensive basketball.
Yeah. Although I don't think that's entirely the story.
No. That's not to say they play bad defense. The pace at which a Martelli offense, and look, it will be it will be slower in the Big Ten than it was at Bryant. A10 scouts, excuse me, especially then. In the A10 than it was in the America East, was it?
Yeah.
That's a given because of the competition, but this is going to be a top 15-20 pace tempo team all year.
It will, and so but what's interesting is they played a fast pace at Bryant. They were the 6th biggest team in the entire country. They did not shoot the ball well at all. But Phil Martelli Jr. so intelligently built the system that they played intelligently around their roster strengths, I think. Right? Like he knew they didn't have high efficient shooters, in my opinion. They had a lot of size, athleticism. They played to those strengths. They had a really unique defensive scheme, which kind of gave MSU and a lot of other teams struggles at times last year in those games. This year, they bring a couple of the Bryant guys, obviously, especially their best player. They have size. They have athleticism. They have wing depth, again, like they did last year. They also add better guards and shooters. They're going to be so tough to beat. Yeah. They're going to be so tough to beat because on both sides of the ball, they're going to be tricky. They're going to be really, really interesting and unique.
And the last thing I have on here, by the way, is worried about shooting because I am. I have GW winning the conference. If you told me today that an A10 team makes the Sweet 16, I think VCU is the most dangerous team in this conference.
Yeah, I mean,
I have them third.
I wouldn't turn down Dayton because of the guard play.
Giving you my opinion.
I would say Dayton and VCU are probably the ones. I don't. Loyola, I don't know if they have the offensive ceiling, and St. Louis, I don't have the confidence in the floor.
It's a bummer because when I was thinking about bold predictions, I immediately texted you oh my God, they're going to have 3 teams. But this is
in the NCAA tournament.
Hold on, bear with me for a second.
Crazy.
No, that's what the non-con doesn't allow for that. Outside of Dayton,
you have to play garbage teams and beat them all by
outside
90.
of Dayton and maybe VCU, there are literally no resume win opportunities in this entire conference.
It's always Dayton and VCU. Can someone else play a tough schedule for once?
I know.
Sorry.
Actually, by the way, St. Joe's we'll get to them in a couple minutes, but St. Joe's has a couple potential opportunities too. But the top 5 is going to beat up on each other, which ultimately, to your point, is going to hurt them.
Yeah. Okay, that's the top 5. I want you to name me your next 3, 6, 7, and 8.
I have St. Bonaventure at 6, George Mason, St. Joe's.
We have the same 3. I have George Mason, St. Joe's, and St. Bonaventure, which is super funny.
So we have none of the top 8 together, but we've tiered them out the same.
Yes.
That doesn't surprise me.
I'll give you. So my 6 is George Mason.
Okay. Talk to me
I'll
about George
explain
Mason because I love Tony Skinn.
Yeah, Tony Skinn rocks. The Maryland people love Tony Skinn, so I'm not surprised you do.
Sure.
Was a potential candidate for the job. He was a candidate at one point.
Let's just call a spade a spade. What's not to like about him?
Yeah, he's great. We talked about them a little bit. We mentioned them before about last season, how like they played a whatever out of conference schedule. They didn't do that well, but in conference they started tearing it up. The way that they play with like underrated guard, ball hawks, shot makers, like tough players, and Katie Johnson, who is probably fits all of that and then some. But the way they kind of play around those guys is a very big culture thing. And I don't think it's fun to play against at all. I think it's why they were doing so well in conference play. I don't love the guys they're bringing in by any means.
Yeah.
Like Corey Mincy, I think from Presbyterian is good. They have our boy Jahari Long, obviously.
Yeah. But they're asking a lot.
But
from
Jamari
him.
Hill from Ball State too. Like
Troutman from Northeastern.
They
got
have
kids coming
guys.
in.
They have guys that I think are not going to be amazing. One person's not going to be unbelievable and be like an all-conference player or anything, first team. But I think they have guys who are ball hawks, who are underrated guards, who can be really good shot makers. So I think there's potential, and I'm almost putting them at 6 because this is what he did last year.
Yeah,
I'm like, you know what? He might just do it again.
So one of the best defensive coaches in the country.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, they were they were up there.
I'm definitely concerned that they just don't have the roster to compete this year. They're asking to replace their best point scorers with a bunch of high point scorers from smaller schools than George Mason, and that concerns me a little bit. But I'm buying into the system and Tony Skinn here. And you talk about VCU is going to be terrible to play against. George Mason's going to be terrible to play against.
No matter who's on the team.
I agree. No, it's just it's a system thing.
Yeah, no, I hear that. You had them at 7 or 8?
I have them at 7. I have St. Bonaventure at 6.
I have Bonnie's at 7. Nope.
Okay.
I have St. Bonaventure at 8.
Woj is our guide.
Woj, friend of the podcast. So the Bonnies don't return great players to me. Nothing
and they lose they lost.
It's this. We're not going to sit here and act like Woj makes the Bonnies amazing. NBA people think on Twitter when they saw him.
No, but Mark
job.
Schmidt might.
But Mark Schmidt's been there. Mark Schmidt's good. But Woj being involved with the program, being their GM, he changes the recruiting landscape for sure. Obviously, you get more donations, more money, more people invested. But the type of players that you can attract with this goes international. They're bringing in 2 international recruits. I don't know if I think Lenati's probably going to play.
They're bringing in a JUCO kid too.
Yes. I'm going to talk about him in a second.
Okay.
Joe Grahovic. You don't know his story, do you?
I love the name. Go.
You don't know him? His story?
I know not enough, not as much as you know.
Lenati and Armakov, international recruits, though, that St. Bonaventure would not be getting these international guys without Woj.
I agree.
So getting guys like that, I think, are already a difference maker for sure. Joe Grahovic, you don't know this story. Seriously?
Go ahead.
Novak
Djokovic?
Never played basketball, basically.
Oh, I know the story.
He was homeless.
Yeah, I know the
in
story.
high school, living in his car. He would go to, I think it was, not Lifetime. Lifetime's a nice gym.
Sure.
LA Fitness, I think it was, or whatever. He was going to his gym after school, and he would go play. And I forget exactly how he got found out, but someone said, hey, come play with us. He ended up at Fullerton College out in Fullerton, California, where he's from. And his coach, his JUCO coach, told him, hey, when we go to the JUCO showcase, your life's about to change tonight, when we play. And he was kind of okay, he was a really experienced guy. He's but he's big. He's 6'10". He can move well.
Yeah.
Big red fro and big red beard too. Doesn't look the part either. It's weird. He was unbelievable. Woj saw him and he put up 22, 5 and 5 or something like that. And Woj had said he was looking around to try to find the college coaches. He was there's no one here. I don't get it. And Woj and Joe have now had a crazy relationship, but it's a great story with Joe Grahovic. I've seen it a lot on social media. He seems like a really humble guy.
It's a great story.
Good player too.
The Bonnie, they're only going to play 6 or 7 guys every year. They don't go deep. They play their guys the way with Mark Schmidt does. They're bringing in a kid from Gardner Webb who scored 40 in a game last year.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Daryl Simmons. They're going to be able to score. The program is there. I think it's going to be good.
Yeah, they're going to be good for sure. I just don't know. They don't have a roster to win the A10 this year. That's my only concern, and that's fine. They don't have to.
I agree. I think their roster might be a little bit better than George Mason, but we'll see what happens.
It probably is on paper. That's fine.
Yeah.
So last top 8 team we talked about was St. Joe's. I have them at 7. You have them at 8. They have a new coach.
I'm just concerned about the vibes around the program more than anything right now.
Yeah, All right, so Billy Lang steps down. Great job by avoiding the hot seat, my man. Like, first of all, friend of the program. I know them well. But
Well, he
Billy,
took an NBA job.
yeah, no, but he was heavily on the
Sure.
hot seat. If they didn't do
Sure.
well this year, he was getting canned.
Sure.
That's a fact. Steve Donahue, internal, quote unquote, but not really long term internal.
Yeah.
But I think it might have been the plan for a little while. He's their new coach. He did talk about how he's going to change the system. He loves using a high press, which I love. Any team who's willing to high press, I think is awesome. They have a couple of ball hawk guards like Derek Simpson, who's fast, who can kind of be in that kind of high fitness, high full court press and stuff. Deuce Jones coming in also from LaSalle,
Yeah.
down the road.
Newcomer of the year last year. in the A10.
A10. Elite player, honestly, in my opinion, who will only get better in the league, and I think he's going to end up being their best player. They did keep a lot of their guys, surprisingly, after Coach Lang left, and not even if Coach Lang stayed there, like they lost their, I think he was their all-time scorer now, Eric Reynolds.
Yep.
They lost Rasheer Fleming to the draft. Obviously, they
yeah.
lost Xavier Brown to OU. Like, I thought that alone would make all the players leave. And I'm surprised, and I commend
coaching
them.
change aside.
Yeah, and the coaching change. So I'm surprised, and I commend them for being able to keep all the players, or not all the players, but being able to keep a lot of their players. Deshaun Haskins also, and a couple of guys there. And I think they'll be good. They won't be great. They won't be awful. That's my opinion on them.
Yeah, I'm. It's a little bit messy. I'm just concerned. I mentioned this before. They do play in the Big Five Classic, which is the best thing. One of the best things in basketball that happens.
Every region in the country should do this.
They play Va Tech. They play UNLV. They play Princeton and Trenton.
They did that last year,
You could
too.
put that up. They play at Syracuse. And most importantly, on December 28th, they play the Arcadia Knights.
Yeah, I'm taking Arcadia in that one.
Yeah.
I mean,
Are you going to show up in your Arcadia soccer jersey?
in that jersey. No, we don't even have a basketball one now.
Well, but you show up in the full kit wanker.
Hold on. I got to find it.
Full kit wanker, so to speak. While you're looking for it, the last thing I'll say is, from a strictly roster, there it is. Love it.
Anyone listening on Spotify, I got my Arcadia soccer jersey right here.
Looks great.
I might put it on.
Looks great. From a roster talent standpoint, I think St. Joe's is probably top 5 in the conference. I just think it's a little messy right now. I think they could lose. Like once the wheels go off the track here, it could get messy because of everything that happened. So
Yeah,
I have them at 8.
I guess that's fair. You want to run me down the rest of your rankings real fast?
Sure.
And I'll do mine, and then we'll talk about any teams that we want to
Sure.
talk about.
From 9 through 14, I have Duquesne, URI, Davidson, Richmond, Fordham, LaSalle.
Okay. By the way, no UMass this year for the first time. For the first time since 1981.
Wow.
Or 82.
In the
81.
MAC.
Yeah, so weird.
Yep.
Just stay in the A10.
Agreed.
Whatever. 9, I have Duquesne.
Yeah.
And I
hey,
have
our first
we agreed on
match.
one. Nice.
Good job.
Richmond at 10, URI at 11, Davidson, Fordham, LaSalle. LaSalle is going to struggle.
We do have Fordham, LaSalle the same.
Fordham and LaSalle are going to struggle for sure. The only team I have big notes on here are a couple of teams. Rhode Island is 100% brand new players. They returned 0% of their minutes.
0.0 returning minutes.
I did some research. They got some dudes, but I'd be lying if I said I knew a lot about their entire roster. I genuinely, I know I trust my knowledge on a lot of guys. I really don't know their roster well enough to be confident.
So the note I have here is I just don't see it. They're going to play at a fast pace. Archie likes to do that. The half-court offense is going to be really ugly. It's going to be really inefficient. This is he has had one winning season in 3 years. This is, by the way, the A10 basketball fans are kind of nuts.
Love it.
URI is another fan base.
They're crazy.
That can quickly run a coach out of town.
Well, yeah, it's Providence and URI are down the road from each other.
I know, but we said that with Dayton at the top of this episode.
Yeah.
Archie may not make it through this year.
We'll see. I don't know if it'll be that bad for URI. If it was Providence, maybe not. But
could we talk about a coach that I love?
Who's that?
Drew Joyce.
I was about to say the only other team I had to talk about was Duquesne. They weren't terrible last year. They 2 years ago the tournament win was out of left field. John Hughley, by the way, coming in. This is going to be year 6 for him.
Wow.
Pittsburgh for 3 years, OU, Xavier, and now he finally took a step down in level. So maybe he'll actually be great.
Most
and
returning minutes
healthy.
in the conference, by the way.
Wow, what's the percentage?
I think 63% or something.
That's crazy. Terrence Ginyard from UT Martin, probably going to be their number 1 best player on offense at least, who was really good for the Skyhawks. Remember we talked about them. My worry for them
there's not a bigger
year,
GW fan. There is definitely not a bigger UT Martin fan than
in the
me.
country. Yeah. Last year they were bottom 50 in the country in scoring. That's really bad. That's really, really bad. But They add Gignard, who's a scorer. I don't think he's enough. I don't think Hughley and him are enough, and what they return, but they should be better because they're returning a lot of their pieces that weren't the worst in the conference as they scored so poorly. So if they can score at a nation average rate, they'll make some noise in the conference, I think.
Yep, I think
they're probably a dark horse.
Yeah, we both have them. It's funny. I think you and I both have them at 9 because we had a clear top 8, and we think they're the one that could break into it.
Yeah, I did consider them higher.
Yeah, I could see them like 6, 7, 8.
And they might, even if they finish 4th, I'd be like, yeah, teams.
Yeah.
Our rankings are going to be so off by the end of the year,
Yep.
so it doesn't really matter.
The only other notes I have on the rest of the conference, year number 21 for Chris Mooney at Richmond.
Damn.
That's crazy. I really like Jaden Daughtry. They're bringing him from Indiana State, but they're losing too much scoring.
They're not going to be that good. They've turned a couple front court
on
guys,
the other side of that, from a coaching standpoint, the first year for Mike Magpeo from UC Riverside at Fordham.
Yep.
Keith Ergo era did not end well.
No.
They lost. I think it was like their last 8. It's like following Kyle Neptune, which is a tough act to follow. They lost their last. Okay, for
I'm
Fordham.
messing around.
For Fordham, they lost their last 8. Guard scoring is not going to be an issue. By the way, they're bringing in a bunch of transfers from the Big West, including 2 Hawaii transfers.
Mahalo.
Yeah. So really interesting. I just wanted to give a shout, first-year head coach there, but yeah, nice. I have them in LaSalle pretty confidently at the bottom of this conference.
Yeah, that's me too. I have no notes. Me too.
No notes.
Me too. Let's go into awards.
Okay. Let's
hear.
Did
you do this also?
So I'm prepared.
You just want to do notes. Okay.
Let's do the same as we did last time, and we'll do this every time, which is you give your first and second team. I will interject with some thoughts that I have, and then we'll do player of the year, newcomer of the year, coach of the year.
Okay, that sounds good to me.
Well, why don't you start off with at least your first team here?
First team all-conference in the A10 this year. Robbie Avila, Rafael Castro will be on the first team all-conference this year for sure.
I think those are the 2 favorites for player of the year.
Yeah.
Like if somebody besides those 2 won, I'd be surprised.
Yeah. Did I mention Javon Bennett before?
I believe yes.
It's my fault. I said Javon Bennett was the second guy, the second returner who was all-conference. It was Robbie Avila. Not Javon Bennett.
Okay. You did talk about Javon Bennett.
I said that, yeah, but I said there were 2 returners from the all-conference teams. It was Robbie Avila.
Okay.
And Rafael Castro, not Javon Bennett.
Not Javon Bennett.
That's my fault.
Yeah, Javon Bennett was not any of the first 3 teams last year.
But Robbie Avila and Rafael, I think, were both second team, or maybe I think that's what it was.
Castro was definitely second team.
Robbie was too, I think. So Robbie and Rafael definitely will be first team this year. I do have Javon Bennett anyway.
Okay.
On first team. Javon Bennett out of Dayton. Barry Evans, Bryant, now VCU.
I was wondering which VCU guy you were going to have on the first
I'm going to go Barry Evans because I know he's going to be, at least, especially earlier on, he's going to have to be their guy, and we'll see what changes. When in doubt, go with the guy that was that coach's guy at their previous school.
Okay.
And then I have Justin Moore at Loyola. I think that, from what I saw briefly of him when he was healthy, I think you're going to see one of the best pure point guards in mid-major basketball in the entire country.
He's a great distributor.
Yeah. And I think if Loyola is good, he can average 9 points a game and 7 assists, and he'll be a first-team all-conference player.
Yeah.
Second-team all-conference, I have Keontae Jones at Dayton. I have Miles Rubin at Loyola. Mm-hmm. I have Trey Autry, Amel Atang, and Deuce Jones at St. Joe's.
Love the list. The 2 guys that I was thinking that you don't have is Garrett Johnson.
This was tough. Garrett Johnson, how do I didn't know how to treat him. I don't know what I'm going to get. I don't know. I want him to be the conference player of the year.
Sure.
I don't know.
National player of the
I just
year.
don't know. I don't know.
And Tyrell Ward. But that's another don't know one probably.
I went with Deuce Jones because he's been in the A10. Keontae Jones, I think I know he's going to play a huge role for Dayton, and they're my number 1 team in the conference.
Yep.
And if they are, they're going to get 2 or 3 guys on these teams also.
Okay.
So
I think there is a world. Hear me out for a second, where Tyrell Ward is top 3 in player of the year in the conference. I'm not saying it's going to happen. There is a world where it could happen. If he is the guy and he is the leading scorer in a high-tempo, fast-paced VCU offense,
maybe.
I think there's a chance.
It could be. I doubt it, but it could be.
So that said, who is your player of the year?
You want to guess? It's Robbie Avila.
Yeah, I figured so.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, baby. Yeah, I mean, think about how good he was for the last couple of years. He's only gotten better. He's getting used to the system and kind of the A10 level of hooping. He is one of the best, if not the best, offensive center in the country. Not just the A10. Robbie Avila won't be an All-American because St. Louis won't be a top 15, 20 team that good. but he is one of the best centers and offensive centers in the country. Defensively, I think he struggles every here and there, and I think he's working on filling those gaps. But like player of the year, you got to put up some damn good numbers in the A10 offensively, and he is going to put up some damn good numbers. I don't know what he put up last year.
18 and something.
I'm going to pull it up. You're probably right.
No, I know it's 18 and something.
17 points, loser.
Oh, I rounded.
17 points, 7 boards, 4 assists, a steal, and a block. He shot 36% from 3. Like, he's going to be the conference player of the year this year as long as St. Louis doesn't completely flop.
Yeah, so it's funny. I have them second in the conference, and I have GW first. I thought about Rafi Castro, but I think Avila is the safe bet here to come back with a monster stat line.
Defensive player of the year, I have Rafael Castro.
Yep.
He was all conference.
First team last year, yeah.
I think he was all conference defensive team last year. He's one of the best returners. You know he's getting big minutes. There are guys like Miles Rubin and maybe one of the VCU guys or something that could kind of pop out here.
By the way, I would never be surprised if any Tony Skin player wins defensive player.
I would this year.
He had it last year.
That's true.
He had it last year, and it was a guarding perimeter guy.
Yeah.
It wasn't a first team scorer.
Because
it's
it's Tony Skin
else.
ball, baby.
That's what I'm saying. All right, newcomer of the year.
Newcomer of the year, I have Keontae Jones at Dayton.
Okay.
You all right there?
I was thinking Deuce Jones for a second. I was like, wait, he was already in the conference. He's not a newcomer. But Keontae Jones.
Keontae at Dayton from
I got
CSU Northridge.
I got it.
I think he's going to be all defensive team. I think he's going to be one of those guys who's such a high impact two-way ball of just like chase down blocks, really good rebounder, doing all the dirty work. He can also score, great play finisher, and like as long as Dayton's good, like I think they're going to be good. He's going to get the recognition he deserves.
Do you have any other thoughts on newcomer of the year? Look, college basketball is different now, so many of the
So
are gonna
look at the guys that I kind of mentioned. Barry Evans would be actually I had Barry Evans first team all conference. I guess by that context it would be Barry Evans.
No, let's go with your.
I'm gonna I'll stick on Keontae Jones, even though that makes no sense now. Does Deuce Jones count? He's not a newcomer.
I don't think so. I don't think he counts. He's been in the conference. I don't know the rules around that.
We're going with Keontae Jones.
Yeah.
My coach of the year, last one. If they're going to be top 3, like I think they can be, I'm going with Drew Valentine.
Yeah.
I think that is like Chris Caputo is a really good example. Also, a coach that even if the team is expected to be good, is good for the first time under that guy. I think they get more recognition than they might deserve, and that's fine. Yeah. But like if Anthony Grant, who's expected to be worse than GW, finishes in second or finishes in third, and GW gets second, Anthony Grant might win Coach of the Year, but he shouldn't.
You know what's funny is I actually think of the top 5 teams we've talked about, Anthony Grant is probably the only one who actually has to win the conference to win Coach of the Year.
Which is BS.
I'm not telling you that's okay, fair, but I believe that's
But
true.
that's his, and that's the Dayton standard that they have they've set the precedent for themselves, and that's okay. And you have to live with that if you're Dayton because that's fine. You're the best brand maybe in the conference next to VCU or whatever. But Drew Valentine, I think this is a year that he can finally kind of break through and be really good. I hope they can be a tournament team. I think it would be great to see them back in the tournament. I love him. That's my guy right there. We're tapped in, so I hope the best for him too.
Yeah, again, just kind of put a bow on. We'll get to Q&A in just a second because there's only a couple. But putting a bow on this conference, this is a really fun conference. It's going to be really top heavy with those 5 teams. I think the biggest concern that we both have is that come tournament time, there's just not a lot of opportunities. And there's very tight margins here.
It sucks every year when you go.
I know.
When I'm pulling, I'm like VCU, Dayton. These teams last year were tournament caliber teams. Dayton did it to themselves, to be fair. But every time these teams get fleeced out of a tournament spot, it sucks because the A10, like the Mountain West gets teams in. They've kind of figured out how to kind of bridge that gap.
A10 is not.
The A10 is not because it's different. There's no football at a lot of these schools, so they don't have that to help boost the rest of their programs.
Well, and we talked about the scheduling thing, and just for a quick second here, the regionality matters because the Mountain West gets games strictly because there's not a lot of schools out there.
Gonzaga, UCLA,
because there's just not a lot of schools out there to play. On the East Coast, it's a totally different story.
Kentucky's going to play Bellarmine, for example, to end their non-conference slate. Why not go play VCU? It's not. It's in Kentucky, Bellarmine, but again, not far at all.
No, the point here is that these coaches and these programs have a very tough time getting a schedule that sets up well to be an at-large team.
I feel for them. I talked to Coach Chris Girdleson at San Francisco a few weeks ago about this a lot. he was open and honest. He was like, listen, like what am I supposed to do? Like what are we
Yeah.
supposed to do?
Yeah.
So they're playing each other. St. Louis plays San Francisco. Like they're
Yeah.
all playing each other.
Well,
so none of them are going to get in.
I was just going to say that's why like the Utah State versus VCU game is amazing, but it's
sucks.
almost like a playing game.
It sucks. Yeah.
It's not a playing game, but you get the point.
No, because guess what? You lose that game.
You're a step behind.
You're both bubble teams in March. Whoever lost out.
Yeah.
Goodbye. They
Yeah.
don't look at.
That's
Which
the
is
problem.
so stupid. It's so dumb because those are all going to be VCU and Utah State. I think are both going to be tournament caliber teams this year.
Absolutely no doubt about it.
But they both won't. They might both get in. Actually, I'm not saying.
Your point is right here.
Generally speaking.
Yeah. So, okay. So we have 2 Q&A. Thank you for sending them as usual. I know we got
I'm
the question
stressed
out
right now.
a little bit late.
I'm stressed because.
Well, I have 2 questions that are
stressed.
related to what we just talked about.
Fine, hit me.
And you can talk about, if you want to talk about NIL with this too, it's up to you.
Yeah.
Liam Inglis on Instagram asked a very poignant question: Is the A10 getting weaker?
I don't think it's getting weaker because to me, when a conference gets weaker, I think not just are they getting tournament teams in and succeeding in the tournament. I don't think that's the only answer to conference quality. I think when you look at analytical rankings, the conference is still figured out. The coaches have still been really good. They're still elevating levels, especially have parity at the top, like we're talking about with 5 teams that can win the conference this year. They're turning on NBA draft picks for the first time at a better rate than they were before that. Also, like I don't think the conference is getting weaker. I don't think it's getting better either. Because to get better, you have to like pump teams into some kind of national recognition, which they're not doing any more than they already have.
I will say, the only possible exception to that rule is that GW seems to be pumping a lot of money into the basketball program. VCU already was, Dayton already was, SLU already was.
Dayton, VCU, St. Louis.
Yeah.
Let's take those 3 because to me, those are the biggest brands that have kind of been the basketball brands of the A10 recently.
GW has a shot.
If GW and Loyola is another one too. Like they had a Final Four run. And
Woj at Bonaventure, like
I think the overall reputation of the A10 hasn't changed, but if anything, it'll go up before it goes down.
I agree. Great.
There you go.
Good follow-up question to that. This is from Gabe Owens on Twitter. You have not seen either of these questions, but
No,
it's which coach from the A10 do you see moving up to a P5 school? It says next season, but let's just say next.
In general, it's a great question.
Yeah.
It's not Anthony Grant because he's been there. I don't think he's going anywhere. He was P5 at one point too.
Right. Schertz is too new. Maybe.
That's not. I mean, Ben McCollum at Drake left after a year.
You're right.
I'd say the goal for Schertz is to go. I think Robbie Avila is a senior this year too. Not that it would matter; he would just come with him anyway.
Yeah. Is Drew Valentine the obvious one?
I'd say Schertz. I was going to say Schertz, Drew Valentine. It has to be a team that can win the conference. It has to be because, especially for it to be this year, because you won't see like if Duquesne finishes 5th and they're like, wow, that was actually really good. A power school's not going to hire Drew Joyce.
Right.
Because of
Somebody
that.
else might hire. Won't
but
be.
I will say, Pitt, Jeff Capel, I'm on watch, and Drew Joyce would be a guy. That's all I'm going to say about Drew Joyce. Maybe the answer sneakily could be Drew Joyce. Tony Skin's on the radar for sure. If I had to give an answer, I'd say it's going to be Schertz because he has success at a school beforehand, or Drew Valentine. Although Valentine, Caputo, they might need more than a year to get there. If they go to the tournament and win a game, I don't know if that's enough.
It also matters which jobs are open because you bring up a really good point with Tony Skin. If the Maryland job opens up next year instead of this year, he's the answer to this question.
Or if Virginia, if it was this year and Ryan Odom was somewhere else, exactly.
So I think you're right. Martelli is the only first-year coach. He's not going anywhere. VCU's got a great tradition.
I will say this, but if VCU wins the A10 tournament this year, they go to the Sweet 16, that brother is gone. That brother is so gone because he won at Bryant. Any school who sees a guy win at the mid-major level at the lowest of low mid-majors, and they look good in the tournament at their standard, then go take a step up, dominate there and win there and succeed on the national stage, he's so gone. Like that's what happened with Ben McCollum. It's the same thing.
Oh, by the way, he's a Martelli.
Yeah, junior.
Thanks. That's an interesting thought. The landscape of college basketball has changed so much too that like the idea of changing rosters and no continuity, like that's expected in the A10.
Who cares?
No, it's expected in the A10 now. Like we ran through this. I think there's only 2 teams in this entire conference who have over 50% returning minutes.
Yeah, I'll pull up my chart. Did Tucker Kraft just score a touchdown?
That's not great for me. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Let's go. Oh, no. He got down on the goal line. Damn.
You're getting real life fantasy football reactions here.
All right. I was putting up a chart that I posted. Sorry.
Distracted by the Tucker Craft.
I saw his face. No words, just his face on Twitter. His big face, big, beautiful face. So the A10, actually 12th out of 31 conferences in returning minutes, 30.3%. Yep. It's basically average.
I figured somewhere right in the middle there. And then you have a team like URI who brings back nobody. VCU also brings back very, very. Oh, no, you said their depth stuff is there.
There's balance.
Yeah.
It's called balance.
Any final thoughts on the A10?
0 bid league, but also 4 bid league. Let me tell you this.
I know.
I want there to be 3 A10 teams in the NCAA tournament. I think the A10 has the quality to have 3 NCAA teams this year.
Yeah.
They won't get. Yeah. They'll probably have 1 team in tournament.
Yeah, I know. That was my bold prediction, but I don't have it anymore.
They'll have 1 team in the tournament, but they'll have 4 in the NIT.
Yes,
at least
they're going to be loaded.
If not more than that.
No, what's the NIT secondary now to the
Crown sucks.
Yeah, but money, baby.
Crown sucks.
Money, baby.
Stupid.
If you don't follow the accounts, this is a very important week to follow the blue-blooded accounts.
We're on the road.
We're going on the road
to Raleigh, North Carolina. I'll just tell you.
Carolina. So
you can figure it out what school we're going to. Shout out Will Wade.
Yes.
We are going to have a great time. ACC and Big Ten conference previews are going to come up next. I don't know which one's going to be first because we're going to be in Raleigh with Will Wade, but we also have someone from the Big Ten as a guest point on the show, so I don't know which one we're going to do first.
Yeah.
That being said, ACC Big Ten is next. Follow the page everywhere. Make sure to subscribe. Appreciate you guys for watching and listening. If you're still here at the end of the episode, per usual.
Like, rate, review, follow.
Yeah, conference preview stuff. I mean, listen, Mountain West we did, A10 we did now. Now we're going to the big boys. Let's go on to the big boys. So thanks again for watching. Have a great and lovely week, and I hope Tucker Craft scored a touchdown.